What if I told you that the most famous potential alien signal in history might have just been solved? And the answer involves a cosmic phenomenon so rare that astronomers are calling it astrophysical anarchy. Detective Leslie reporting for duty. And today we're cracking the case that's baffled scientists for nearly half a century. By the end of this investigation, you'll understand exactly what caused the legendary WOW signal and why this breakthrough discovery might change how we search for extraterrestrial life forever. Picture this: August 15th, 1977. A warm summer evening in Delaware, Ohio. The Big Ear radio telescope sits silently in the countryside, its massive aluminum reflectors scanning the cosmos while everyone sleeps. No one's around, just computers humming away, printing out endless streams of numbers on perforated paper. 3 days later, astronomer Jerry Ehman sits down with a coffee and a stack of computer printouts to analyze what the telescope captured. He's a volunteer, doing the painstaking work of hand-checking data for anything unusual. Row after row of mostly ones and twos, background cosmic static. Then suddenly, his eyes lock onto something that makes his heart race. 6EQUJ5. Without thinking, he grabs a red pen and circles the sequence, scrawling "Wow" in the margin. What Eamon had found was the strongest, most intriguing radio signal ever detected by SETI, and it's never been heard from again. The signal came from the direction of Sagittarius, lasted exactly 72 seconds, and hit the frequency that hydrogen atoms naturally emit, 1420 megahertz. For SETI researchers, this was like finding a calling card from an alien civilization. But fellow detectives, if you're ready to investigate this cosmic cold case with me, hit subscribe, because we're about to dig into evidence that's been hiding in plain sight for decades. For 47 years, the WOW signal has remained one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in science. Until now. Because in 2024, a team of researchers made a discovery that might finally close this case. And it's more fascinating than any alien explanation ever proposed. Let's start by examining our crime scene. The Big Ear wasn't your typical radio telescope. Instead of a dish, it was a massive 100-meter-long aluminum plane with two reflectors that could only see a narrow strip of sky as Earth rotated. The telescope had two feed horns, basically funnel-shaped receivers, positioned 1.5 meters apart. Here's the first piece of crucial evidence. Any cosmic radio source should trigger both feed horns as it passed through the telescope's beam. First, the eastern horn would detect it. Then, 3 minutes later, the western horn would pick up the same signal. But the WOW signal only appeared in one horn. This suggested something extraordinary, either an incredibly brief burst or something so precisely timed that it defied astronomical odds. The signal's characteristics read like a detective's dream case file. It was narrowband, less than 10 kilohertz wide, which is unusual for natural cosmic phenomena. It peaked at 1,420.4556 megahertz, almost exactly at the hydrogen line frequency that SETI researchers monitor specifically because it's where they'd expect intelligent aliens to broadcast. The signal strength was 30 times stronger than background noise, impossible to miss, impossible to mistake for interference. Eamon himself said it best. No conclusion was ever possible other than it certainly had the potential of being a signal from extraterrestrial intelligence. But our detective instincts tell us to dig deeper into the evidence before drawing conclusions. In any good investigation, you have to rule out false leads. For decades, astronomers returned to that patch of Sagittarius, using increasingly powerful telescopes. The Very Large Array, the Green Bank Telescope, the Arecibo Observatory before its collapse. All came up empty. No repeating signal, no source, nothing. Early theories pointed to Earth-based interference. Secret military satellites, perhaps? But analysis of satellite positions in 1977 ruled this out. The signal's frequency was protected for radio astronomy. No terrestrial transmitters should have been broadcasting there. In 2016, astronomer Antonio Paris proposed that comets 266P/Christensen and 335P/Gibbs could explain the signal. comets carry hydrogen clouds, and they were in the right region of sky. This theory made headlines, "Wow, signal mystery solved." Case closed? Not so fast. The original Big Ear team immediately pushed back with devastating evidence. First, the comets weren't actually in the telescope's beam at the right time. Second, comets don't emit radio waves strongly at 1420 megahertz. Third, if a comet caused the signal, why didn't it appear in both feed horns? The comet theory crumbled under scrutiny, another dead end in our investigation. By 2020, the case had gone cold. 43 years of searching had yielded nothing. Signal remained radio astronomy's most famous, unsolved mystery. But sometimes the best breakthroughs come from looking at old evidence with fresh eyes. Enter our breakthrough witness, the late, great Arecibo Observatory in Puerto Rico. Before Hurricane Maria damaged it in 2017 and its final collapse in 2020, Arecibo conducted a survey called REDS, Radio Emissions from Red Dwarf Stars. Dr. Abel Mendez and his team were studying nearby stars, looking for signs of potentially habitable planets. In May 2024, Mendez was watching a YouTube video about the WOW signal when something clicked. I thought, well, that would be something amazing to find in our data, he recalls. So his team decided to comb through Arecibo's archived observations from February to May 2020, looking for anything similar to the legendary signal. What they found was extraordinary. Multiple narrowband signals near the hydrogen line, not as strong as the original WOW signal, but unmistakably similar. These mini-WOW signals appeared at different locations in the sky, ruling out a single artificial source. But here's the kicker. The team could identify exactly what these signals were. Cold hydrogen clouds. Vast, thin regions of neutral hydrogen gas scattered throughout our galaxy's interstellar medium. These clouds naturally emit radio waves at 1420 megahertz, but normally they're incredibly faint, thousands of times weaker than what Big Ear detected in 1977. Fellow detectives, what's your theory about how a faint hydrogen cloud could suddenly become bright enough to fool SETI astronomers? Drop your ideas in the comments. I have a feeling some of you might crack part of this puzzle before we reveal the full solution. The missing piece of our puzzle involves one of the universe's most extreme objects, magnetars. These are neutron stars with magnetic fields trillions of times stronger than Earth's. So powerful they can strip atoms apart from thousands of kilometers away. When magnetars have violent outbursts, they release more energy in seconds than our sun produces in years. Here's Mendez's revolutionary theory. On August 15, 1977, a magnetar somewhere behind a cold hydrogen cloud had a massive flare. The intense burst of X-rays and gamma rays slammed into the hydrogen atoms, creating what physicists call population inversion, essentially turning the entire cloud into a cosmic laser or maser. In this state, the hydrogen atoms are energized far beyond their normal levels. When they drop back down, they emit radiation in perfect synchronization, like billions of tiny radio transmitters suddenly turning on together. This process, called superradiance, can amplify a signal by orders of magnitude in just seconds. The result? A normally invisible hydrogen cloud suddenly blazes like a beacon at exactly 1420 megahertz, creating an intense, narrow-band radio burst lasting just 72 seconds. Exactly what Big Ear detected as the WOW signal. This explains every aspect of our mystery. Why the signal was so strong yet so brief. Why it appeared at the hydrogen frequency. Why it was narrowband. Why it never repeated. The chances of a magnetar flare hitting a hydrogen cloud just as Earth's rotation swept it through Big Ear's beam are astronomically small, millions to 1 against. But in a galaxy with billions of stars and countless hydrogen clouds, incredibly rare events do happen. Think of it like this. Normally, hydrogen clouds whisper at 1420 megahertz, but when hit by a magnetar flare, they suddenly scream, loudly enough to be heard across interstellar distances, but only for moments before the excitement fades and they return to their quiet whispers. This discovery has huge implications for SETI research. It means future searches need to be more careful about distinguishing between genuine alien techno-signatures and these rare astrophysical masers. What looks like an alien beacon might actually be cosmic coincidence, a hydrogen cloud getting zapped by a magnetar at just the wrong moment. But not everyone's convinced. SETI astronomer Jason Wright points out that this phenomenon has never been directly observed. We're essentially proposing a new type of astrophysical event based on one data point. The set of physical conditions is extremely delicate and specific, Wright argues. It's not clear if that's even possible. Mendez acknowledges this limitation. His team is now using Chile's Very Large Telescope to identify the exact hydrogen clouds behind their detected signals, hoping to find more evidence. They're also revising their paper based on peer feedback before submitting to the Astrophysical Journal. It's worth noting that magnetars weren't even theorized until 1992, 15 years after the WOW signal. In 1977, astronomers simply didn't have the knowledge to propose this explanation. Sometimes solving a mystery requires waiting for science to catch up with the evidence. So here's where our investigation stands. We have a compelling natural explanation that accounts for every aspect of the WOW signal. A magnetar flare hitting a hydrogen cloud could create exactly the type of signal Big Ear detected: strong, brief, narrowband, and unrepeatable. But here's the beautiful irony. Even if the WOW signal wasn't from aliens, this discovery might be just as important for astrobiology. It reveals a completely new way that hydrogen clouds can masquerade as techno-signatures, helping us design better SETI protocols. It also suggests that master flares in the hydrogen line, something never observed before, might be a real astrophysical phenomenon. Jerry Ehman's famous WOW might not have marked humanity's first contact with alien intelligence, but it may have documented the first detection of cosmic superradiance, a phenomenon that could revolutionize our understanding of interstellar hydrogen and magnetar behavior. And who knows? If magnetars can turn hydrogen clouds into temporary radio beacons, maybe advanced civilizations could harness this same physics. Perhaps the real aliens are out there using magnetar-triggered hydrogen masers as galactic communication networks. And we're only just learning to recognize their cosmic infrastructure. What do you think, fellow investigators? Does this solve the WOW signal mystery, or are there still loose ends that need tying up? Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this deep dive into cosmic detective work, make sure to subscribe for more investigations that challenge everything we think we know about the universe. The WOW signal case may be approaching closure, but the cosmos is full of unsolved mysteries waiting for curious minds to crack them. Until our next investigation, this is Detective Leslie signing off.